Hello, everyone. You are tuned into Conversations with Graciously Me. My name is Jamila Scott, and I am so happy to be here on a Thursday night. We are switching to Thursdays for the summer months. And last week, we had a guest host who opened up Thursdays for us. So I feel like I haven't seen you all in a long time. So, hey, we switched to Thursday nights instead of Fridays because the world is opening up. And I know on Friday nights, a lot of you are going to be wanting to get out and be out, and you should be. We've been stuck in the house for a year. So I don't want to hold you up with that, but I still want you to get that good information. So while we're in the summer months, we will be broadcasting on Thursdays. I am, again, Jamila. For those who do not know me, I am the owner of Jamila Scott Enterprises, founder of Graciously Me Women's Empowerment Group, which is actually the home to over 900 women and counting. And I am the host of this wonderful show, Conversations with Graciously Me. And let me tell you, I want to, if you have not seen last week's show with our new guest host, Niasha, please go back and look at that show. That was an awesome show that she had. And she will actually be on every third Thursday of the month. So make sure that you all come on. She's our sister from across the pond in the UK. So make sure that you do keep watching. Even though it's not me, she has the same mindset as I do. And we just all want to be able to see each other grow. So make sure that you do watch. Go back and look at the show. All righty. Now, I know you all are ready. But I got to tell you who the show is sponsored by. This show is sponsored by Shop Graciously Me. This is where empowered women shop to get their luxury accessories, to get their statement tees, to get self-care items. So if you haven't stopped by Shop Graciously Me, which is the Graciously Me boutique, be sure to do so. All right. Who got their wine ready for tonight? Because tonight's show, we are toasting to life. This is, look, I didn't even get a chance to open the bottle. I just got a chance to grab it. And I am so excited about tonight's show because we get to talk about something that I know we all like to go and want to experience, the wine tastings and all of that. So we're going to find out tonight how to do it the right way with the CEO of Black Girls Wine. Listen, really quickly, if you're watching the replay, type replay in the comments, please, so that we know you are here. I can show you some love. I see the comments. Hi, Nikki. I see you. I see you. Beatrice. Hello. Welcome. If you are new to the show, welcome. So tonight, like I said, we're toasting to life, and it is not too late to share. So you can go to Conversations with Graciously Me Facebook page and share the live, as well as on YouTube. Type in my name, Jamila Scott, and you can actually, and let me put that up for you. Thought that was already up. So right there at the bottom has the information. Type in Jamila Scott, and you can share on YouTube as well. All righty, who's ready? I see we got people live already. So type in for me, toast. If you're ready to get this wine conversation started tonight, type in toast for me. I'm on a wait. I know it's a little bit of a lag most times coming through, but if you type in toast, I know that you are ready to talk to the CEO of Black Girls Wine. I am so excited. Okay, I see you. All right, I'm not going to hold it up any longer. I am going to present to some and introduce to others, none other than Shayla Varnado, CEO of Black Girls Wine. Hey, look, hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey, how's it going?
It is going wonderful. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I have been trying to get this set up for a long time. So I am so excited about tonight. and just the topics we want to talk about to introduce people who are not aware of Black Girls Wine Society, to let them know that we're out here. So before I just jump in too far, I want you to talk about you for a minute. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, I can. I am Shayla Varnado. I always like to say I am a wife, I'm a dog mom, and I'm an avid Target shopper. First and foremost. Let my husband tell it. I live there. It's my second home. But I'm the founder of Black Girls Wine and the Black Girls Wine Society, which I do run full time. We're an international organization with over 50 plus chapters, over 400 members of Black women leaders who absolutely love wine, and they love and cherish sisterhood. So we have a really good time. I've got the best day job ever. I get to work with Black people, I get to work with Black women, and I get to drink wine. So it's a great time over here all the time. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes. Now listen, what is the mission behind Black Girls Wine? Because we do have a history together. I remember your fashion stylist days. I remember your makeup days. I remember, So how did Black Girls Wine come about? Are you just sitting there one day thinking, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. Tell us.
You know what? It is so funny. So for me, I always loved wine, but I didn't have a ton of friends who were as into it or as interested in it as I was. Right. So it actually came about because a girlfriend of mine reached out to me, and she was like, "Hey, Shayla, would you be interested in selling wine?" And my answer to her, and this is my very honest answer, I asked her, I said, "Are there any Black people that even work for this company?" And she was just like, "Oh." Like, she was very taken aback by me asking her that. But at the time, I was still working in corporate, and I was like, I don't want to work at another company where I'm the token Black girl. I want to be in a company where I see more of myself. And so that made me not only look at that company, which, by the way, there wasn't a Black soul in there. Not even one to this day. And so that in itself made me like, no, thank you. But then it made me look at the wine industry as a whole. And I noticed that overall, even when it comes to simple as marketing, wine is not marketed to Black people, unless it's something sweet, right? Like has a Moscato or something. That's when they start targeting wine towards us, when it's something sweet. But it's never just, a Black woman enjoying a nice glass of champagne and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, and this was in 2016. So for everybody who doesn't know, this was a while ago now. And so I launched Black Girls Wine, and a lot of people, it's been through some phases. I've definitely tried my hand at different things in business.
I think every entrepreneur has done at least 10 to 15 things before something catches.
With Black Girls Wine alone, I've done 2 or 3. And so I knew that eventually I wanted to have an organization, but I wanted to take the time to cultivate an audience and a sisterhood around it before I actually launched one, to validate the idea and make sure it was needed and it was wanted. And I see some of our members on. Hey, Beatrice, she's in our chapter. And so basically, when I launched the society in 2019, it was 3 years later after building it. And the mission for me was to empower Black women leaders with the wine knowledge that they need in order to navigate in and out of the boardroom, right? So we know when you're in the C-suite, when you're on the executive team, you're one of the key people in your company, whether you're managing people or managing the company as a whole, making those key decisions. A lot of important conversations happen at the dinner table.
Yes,
a lot of them happen after hours when they're like, "Oh, we're going to happy hour. A lot of them happen." And a lot of times when it comes to those conversations, if we don't have that opportunity to learn about wine, then we're sitting there and we don't know. And the truth is that, and it's interesting because we've had this conversation within the organization, but like Black people as a whole, we just don't have the same level of exposure to wine or wine industry. And so it was important for me to be able to create a sisterhood that empowered Black women on their leadership journey, but also empower Black women on their wine journey. So giving them the knowledge and education, and not me doing it, but bringing in professionals and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we're here for empowerment, we're here for sisterhood, and we're here for building up stronger Black women leaders.
I think it's awesome. When I first saw you launch it, I was like, yes, yes.
Thank you. Look, Jamila is my sister.
Yeah.
Look, she's been my sister for a long time. Long before
Yeah.
I even thought up Black Girls Wine. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you tremendously. You're amazing.
Oh, I feel the same about you. I really do. I'm so proud of you. I watch you. I'm inspired by you. I'm just so glad to have people like you in my circle that we can not only do things like this show, but we can have lunch and we can hang out.
Yes.
And so it's so good to be able to be with other entrepreneurs and people that have a creative spirit, because we are a particular type of person. So
we're very different.
Yes, very.
In a different way because we're so creative.
Exactly. So I really, really, really honor what you're doing, girl. You're doing the thing. So listen, let's talk about this wine situation.
Let's talk about it.
We have the society, we have the sisterhood. We're going to tell you all more about that later in the show so that you all can get connected to the sisterhood. If it's open, because I know it's hard to get in.
It is. Hey, Lindsay. Look, we got another sipster, another society member.
Okay. She says, hey.
Yeah, we keep it real tight around here, and membership is about to get that much more hard to get it. Yes, I'm like, we thought it was exclusive before. We've gotten DMs like, when are you guys going to open? And we're like, listen, we'll let you in when we're ready. Okay.
Well, I can vouch for that because I even myself have put in, I know 2 or 3 emails. I'm like, did I miss it again? So I know how limited it is. Sharonda is on here. She's one of your someone in this Black Girls Wine Sisterhood. She said, but it's worth the wait.
Yes, it is.
I believe it. Now listen, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this thing, because I must admit, I am not a wine connoisseur. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm that I hold on to a drink all night. I like sweet daiquiri, so I really don't even really drink like that. And I'm a Stella Rosa, 5% alcohol. Like, that's about as much as I do have this though. I was told that this is a really good, next step.
What you got? Lift it up a little bit. Let me see what you're drinking.
All right, let me see.
What kind of wine? Oh, there we go. And I can't even see it.
Casarva women.
Casorza?
Is that, can you see it now?
Okay. It looks like, is it a red blend?
Yes.
Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay.
So I have not tried it yet. But I do want to get out of the Moscato rut. I've typically, and I guess like everything else, you kind of have to get your palate together. Because I am the sweet girl, the sweet wine drinker. So I'm hoping to get out of that tonight. But before we even talk about blends and different wines to try and what would be some next options if you're like me, let's talk about the difference between an expensive wine and a less costly wine. What do you look for? Do you even look for that when you're purchasing? Or is there something else we should be looking for?
So that's a really great question. It is one that I know a ton of people always have on their mind. So great question. The difference between a expensive wine and a less expensive wine can be a variable of things. There are wines that you find in the store that are really cheap. They're the doorbusters, so to speak.
Yes.
A lot of those are mass produced. Those are going to be your wines that have more chemicals, have more additives, have more things in them than when you purchase your $30, $50, $100 bottle of wine. In that range, there's a lot more time and care that's put into the bottle. And so I always tell people, when you are drinking based on price point, you are changing your experience. So having a $10, Moscato versus a $25, $30 Moscato that's from Italy is a big difference, right? Because you are really getting this winemaker that has taken his time. It's probably a small family vineyard, not a lot of junk or gunk in it, um, versus this other one that they actually just throw all in the batch, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. It might be a little bit of everything, right?
Right,
So
right.
what is the biggest difference? But don't be fooled. There are some really great and expensive wines that you can get, especially if you're getting them straight from the source. So when you go in a wine store and you see like a $15-$20 bottle, that could be a really, really great wine. So price point, it's always just about it's really about that experience. I don't drink $5 bottle of wine, but I'm not here to judge anybody who does.
Right, right. I get ready to say I am in many groups and they love their Aldi wine.
I'm not running to pick it up because, and this is the thing, this is what I tell people. You got to think of it like a juice, right? Shout out to Lindsay. She said BGWS is helping her get into other wines.
She told me, she said, don't feel bad. I'm a sweet girl too. Black Girls Wine is helping me to be open to other wines. So good. I don't feel alone now.
Yeah, and shout out to Kelly. She's one of our chapter presidents.
Hello, Kelly. Hello. Welcome to Conversations with Graciously Me.
Yeah. And Lindsay's right. Like, don't feel bad because we all started there. Like, it's not like, oh my God, she drinks Moscato. I enjoy a good Moscato. Like,
right,
so
right.
Your palate grows as you grow. So you may come over and taste like a $50 red blend and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. That's going to change the way you drink. Because then you go to the store and look for something that wasn't the same as what Shayla had. I would like the $50 bottle. Like,
exactly.
And you, as you grow, your palate grows is what I tell you. So don't feel bad, you know.
But I believe it because it's just like with anything else, I guess. Once you get open to new, more grander experiences, you can't go back because your mind is already stretched.
Having Martinelli apple juice versus a store version of apple juice. Okay? You can pay $3 for that little bitty bottle to have an experience, or you can get that jug for 69 cents and drink nothing but sugar.
Exactly, and maybe a little bit of arsenic too. Yeah. Good evening, Tracy. Welcome. So listen. Okay, so we know that there are some good wines that we don't have to spend a whole lot of money on.
Definitely.
Name some. Tell us a few, like maybe one or two.
I would say this one was a tough one. Even when I like
you want time to think about it, we can come back to it.
I would say some wines that I love, and I guess inexpensive is relative because I don't know. Like,
well, let's just say, okay, so in the grocery store, you probably can find something $14 or something. So,
Bride Sisters. I think you can find them between like 14 and 25.
Okay.
Some of them make Bride Sisters wines. They're the sisters that make Black Girl Magic wines. They make the Riesling, the Rosé, the Red Blend. Try them. I know you can find them in Kroger, nationwide. So they're a good one.
All right, I've seen them, but I just recently found out that they were Black owned. So that's another good reason to give them a try.
Yeah, and I think Gwen Hurt is crazy wine. You can find that.
Yes.
Up and down the East Coast for sure. I'm trying to think of who else is in the grocery store that you can find,
or the wine store. I just wanted to start there.
Yeah, and okay, so there's some really wine stores usually have good wine stores. Typically, to me, I find really great options, and especially if I'm like trying not to spend like, okay, I'm not looking for a $60 bottle, right?
Right.
I think wine stores have a lot more options, so
okay.
I'd probably say if you can find any of Marcus Johnson Flow Wines, he makes some really great wines, and he's got some really great stuff in store for us this year, but he makes some really great wines.
Good. So I hope you guys took note of that. Or either go back later and watch the replay so you can get that name again. Now, what's the proper way to analyze wine? Because in the opener, I was talking about, a lot of the ladies want to get together for girls' night and go to wine tastings and events such as that. Go to the vineyards, walk around. What is the proper way, and break it down, Black girls wine style? Like,
Yeah,
when I say that, right? What is the proper way to analyze wine? Like, you'll see them and they're smelling it and but what are they really doing? Like, what?
Okay, so this is what they're doing. And Beatrice threw another one out there that's really good. Andre Mack, he's a Black guy out of Oregon. He makes some really great wine too. So when you see them looking at their wine, and you don't do these steps for all of your wine, but you can. Okay. So Tracy said, yes, what are they doing?
Yes, like, what are they doing? Look, ladies, I'm going to be real. I'm keeping it real tonight like I always do. So that's why I said when she break it down for us, break it down so that we know, but then we can interpret it once we get there, act like, we've been living this life, right?
Yes.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's in your glass? You're going to start by looking at the color of the wine. The color of the wine matters because it's going to tell you, it can tell you a lot. It can tell you the age of the wine. It can tell you the type of grape. And that's super, super specific. That's wine geek stuff, but it can tell you the type of grape. But a lot of times you're just looking for the clarity and the color. So like this is one we would describe as straw colored. When you see people drinking a red wine, you typically see them swirling. And what they're doing when they're swirling, this is the next step, is they're opening up the wine. Now you don't typically do this with a champagne, which is what I'm drinking. You see it's causing a lot of fuss in there. So typically with a red wine, sometimes with a white, you don't typically do it with white, but you can. You swirl so that you can allow the oxygen to open up the wine. Mm-hmm. And what that just means is you're going to get more aromas than if you just stuck your nose in it. So next step is the sniffing. So we get to see what we smell in there. There's some lemon, little melons, kind of some floral notes. And what you're doing there is that can help you identify the grape as well. But it prepares your palate for what you're about to drink. So honestly, that's the fun part. And I always tell people, when you're describing wine, don't be afraid. It doesn't have to be specific or the terms that I would use because I've studied and have, my degrees that it can be fun stuff. Like there have been times that I've smelled wines and I'm like, oh, it smells like the water hose. Like out of it in the summer. And that's something that everybody can relate to, right? How many of y'all drank out of water hose as kids?
We all did.
We all did. Like we all did it. And so it's okay to use the smells and the aromas that you're used to or that you're familiar with. It doesn't have to be your typical wine terms, right? And then after that, you're going to taste it. So you smelled, right? You smell the water. You smell the water out of the water hose. Let's see what it tastes like. Are you getting that taste? And that water out of the water hose smell is the water coming in contact with the metal, right? And so when you taste it, sometimes you'll taste wines and they'll have like, it kind of has a metallic-y kind of taste that matches with what I was smelling. So a lot of times you're looking for that familiarity between your nose and your palate, and it won't always be there. Sometimes they're completely different. Sometimes you smell wines that smell sweet and you get them, you start drinking them, you might smell a little honeysuckle on it and it's dry as a bone.
Oh, wow. I would be so disappointed.
It happens a lot. So smell isn't always going to tell you what you're going to get on your palate, but it can at least prepare you depending on what grape you're drinking. So gotcha. Some people, for instance, if you like Moscato, you'll be familiar with Moscato notes if you were doing a blind tasting. Or if you like Sauvignon Blanc, which I do not like it, but I can pick it up in a glass because it's very distinct. Sauvignon Blanc usually has like a fresh cut grass kind of smell to it. And some people love it. I hate it. So it is just, it just depends on the person and your palate and what you prefer.
Gotcha. So we're looking at it. Mm-hmm. We're twirling it, especially if it's red, and we're sniffing.
Uh-huh. And then you sip. So those are the 4 S's. You see,
Mm-hmm.
Swirl, you sniff, and you savor.
All right. I like it. I like it. I feel like I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Yeah.
So listen, since starting Black Girls Wine, how has your wine palette changed? What have you now? What has it opened the world of wine to you? How have you evolved?
Well, it's changed tremendously. For those of you who may not know, I had a show called Wine Down Live, and I say had, I do still host the show. It's more pop-up style when I feel like it and I'm not exhausted. But Wine Down Live was a weekly show. There's 2 seasons of it. No, 3 seasons of it. So you can actually go back and watch all the old episodes. And I tried a new wine every week. I'm gonna tell you something, Jamila. When I started that show, I was just drinking whatever I thought I would like. Right. And sometimes I pick things that I hated. I've never taken any of these episodes down, so y'all can go watch them on Facebook. I think my first video has last time I looked at it was 15,000 views from people who've gone back and watched from the beginning. But completely different, right? And so now, and Beatrice will tell you, look, Beatrice has been with me for a long time.
We already know.
Listen, now at first I was I would drink some reds. I didn't like rosé. Now I'm like, girl, give me all the bubbly, give me all the rosé, and honey, everything red. So it has changed tremendously, but that came from drinking and being open to trying new things. And it was a challenge for me and for everyone who was drinking with me, because I would be like, okay, guys, this is the wine I picked up. I would taste it live. It's just so, it'd be crazy too, because sometimes I'd be like, guys, I don't like this. But what it did allow me to do is it developed my curiosity for wine. And so this what led me to taking my WSET level 1 and 2. And with the knowledge, now I can tell you why I don't like particular things, right? So Sauvignon Blanc, I don't like it because it's a very acidic wine. And I don't like high acid whites. And so with that growth, now I encourage all my wine friends to do the same thing. So it's been 3 or 4 years. So now I'm like, my palate's completely different. My price point is different. I'm not going in the store picking up $5 wine. Like, when you come to my house, you can probably guess that bottle costs at the least $30. And you're going to be drinking some really great quality wine. Today I'm drinking champagne by Ferrari.
Okay. Now tell me, from the dry to sweet, is that in the middle or?
Oh no, this is dry. And the way that you know it's dry is because it says brut. So brut. Oh, where is my camera? Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So brut means that it's dry.
Okay.
And if it's very dry, it's going to say extra brut.
Now I do know that that's normally, well, people do use that for mimosas, right? And is that kind of counteracting the sweet from the?
Yeah, so it does. It helps balance out the sweetness of the orange juice. As you grow and learn to appreciate champagne, you start to hate the orange juice that's added.
Yeah.
Ferrari is not a champagne that we're going to put orange juice in. This is not a bottle that we're adding. No, ma'am. Keep your orange juice. Don't ruin my bottle of champagne. It is what we would add orange juice to is something cheap. If I'm making mimosas, I'm going to the grocery store and picking up something cheap. So.
Gotcha. Nyasha, who is our guest host on that I'll introduce you all to at the beginning of the show. She says, I just drink whatever.
Girl, me too now. Look, now I drink whatever. So if you're looking for sweet wines, you want to try demi-sec. That's what Beatrice was sharing.
Okay. Yeah, because Sharonda is saying that you would definitely push somebody out of their wine comfort zone.
Sharonda, whenever Sharonda's around, I'm like, girl, here, try this wine. I'm opening bottles oh my God, you got to try this. So.
Well, that's good. And she can try it okay, you already tried it, so I trust your judgment. Now I can go try it.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so we got new wine choices. We, opening up our palate. We're getting away from the grocery store. We're going to the wine store. We're picking out better choices. We know the difference between, if it's brut, extra brut is really, really dry. Demi-sec is sweet. So we're learning a lot of good stuff tonight, I'm following you. I'm following you now.
Good.
If someone is going to a wine tasting for the first time, other than the tips that you've already given, what other suggestions would you have for them?
So if you're going to a wine tasting for the first time, ask the sommelier or generally there's a sommelier on staff that's going to be serving you. And what you want to do is ask them, say, hey, what tasting do you have available? A lot of times they'll have like a red, they'll have a combo, or they'll have like all whites, right?
Okay.
Based on that, you can ask them questions that coordinate kind of with your palate. So you have a sweet palate. You can tell them, hey, my palate's pretty, I've got a young palate, pretty sweet. What tasting do you have that will that I'll enjoy, right? Because if you do a reds tasting and all their reds are dry, you're going to hate everything.
Yes.
So it's always good to ask them, like, what do you have available that would be a good fit for where my palate is right now? And then they'll ask you, well, what do you like?
Okay.
So don't be afraid to ask questions. And when they ask you questions back, be honest. Tell them, like, I like Moscato. I've had a few sweet Rieslings. And I'm open to trying new things.
Lindsay said, my first wine tasting, I left tipsy. I was tasting everything. I don't blame you. Now that you're in there, look, try it all.
And that wine tastings are the perfect place to practice opening up your palate. Try everything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, why not? But I did not know that you could actually go in and, I thought that you just would have to take whatever they gave you. I didn't know you could ask. So
you can ask them questions. Don't ever just take what they give you. Because you never know. And even I still do that sometimes. I do. So whenever my friends want to go to Cooper Talk, it's not somewhere that I personally go to drink wine specifically, but if I'm going somewhere like Cooper's Hawk, they always have options. And I'll ask them because I want to know, like, well, what do you guys have? And they usually have like 3 or 4 options. And so I make my selections based on that because I know I'm not going to do a tasting that's heavy on acidic whites.
Right.
I'm interested in having something that's heavy on Chardonnay, like not from there specifically.
Right.
So, it's good to ask those questions so that you can get to know a little bit more about what your options are. Right. You find more varietals you like.
True. Beatrice said ports are sweet, but ABV is 20%. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. For a non-drinker to try that, that did not turn out well.
No.
You are exactly right.
You do
my little 5%.
Yes.
I thought I was doing something. And now, we're down, look, 20%. Whoo, you had to pick a sister up.
Ports are for date night, okay?
Yes. All the way out. Listen, a lot of you all that's watching, you already are really well versed in wine, and I love it. I love all the information that's coming through. But if you do have questions, if you see me peeking over to the side, I'm looking at the comments, I'm looking at the questions. Please type the questions in the comments because we want to get your questions answered. We have about less than 30 minutes left in the show. So, we definitely I'm going to ask the questions, but if you have questions, type them in the comments and we'll be sure to get answers for you. So what wines would you suggest for different pairings? So if you just haven't eaten something really quickly or pizza, whatever, versus pasta, what do you suggest?
So I am a completely honest wine professional.
Okay.
I am by no means an expert, and wine pairings are not my specialty. But I can make general suggestions. So like when you're having your steaks and your red meats, typically you go for a medium to a full body red. And that just means your heavier reds, like your Cabernet Sauvignons, your Merlots, that kind of thing. Beatrice is absolutely correct. Fried chicken and champagne. My personal favorite is French fries and champagne.
Okay.
So that, and these are pairings that are very common that you'll find when you, if you ever look them up. I eat a lot of seafood because I'm a pescatarian.
Yeah.
So typically whites do go well with that. So I like a good Riesling or champagne with my seafood. Um, and if you're somebody who likes whites, stick to your lighter dishes. You can have them with your salads. You can have them with your lightly grilled chicken, that kind of thing. Moscato is a dessert wine, so that's something to enjoy after the meal. But you can enjoy it with your meal. The goal with your food and wine pairings is to make sure your food is never heavier than the wine that you're drinking. So if you're having like a pasta night and it's a thick, creamy, heavy pasta, you can have champagne with that or a sparkling wine because it'll cut the fat, right, of the sauce and the butter and everything like that. If you're having, what you wouldn't want to do is have like a light Riesling with a pasta. It's going to drown it out. You're not even going to taste the wine. So you always want to make sure that your food is not more flavored than the wine that you're drinking. If you're having like a jerk chicken or something that, got a lot of kick to it, you want something smooth and light and with a hint of sweetness. So maybe something a little more fruit forward, because you don't want something that's dry and it's got some kick to it, like a Shiraz. Your mouth is going to be on fire, right? So it's all about, when it comes to pairing your foods, making sure that what you're eating is going to complement what you're drinking.
Gotcha. So
read the back of the bottle.
Okay. So you can find out a lot of information on the back of the bottles. Huh?
You can. Typically, your grocery store wines, typically when you're in the grocery store, you can read, it'll tell you what the flavors are. So like if you pick up a white wine and it's like, oh, this wine has a hint of lemon zest and blah, 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 blah. And you're having a scampi for dinner, that's going to complement. Typically you add lemon to your scampi. So you'll have an idea. A lot of winemakers now are adding just a little more detail to the back of their bottle. So check it out. It'll usually tell you if it's a medium body, if it's a light body. So that'll tell you, okay, light body is like water. Medium is like milk. Heavy, a full body wine is going to be like a cream, right? So that's going to tell you, okay, this will complement that, or all right, that spaghetti I'm making is not going to work with this.
Right. Okay, so that's another good tip. Read the bottle if you're in the grocery store. Now, in the wine store, you might have to ask somebody.
Yeah, you can. And sometimes they have people, usually the person who is stocking the wine in the grocery store has not a store clerk, but you can ask for whoever the beverage specialist is at the grocery store. Kroger has them. You can ask, and they can tell you like, hey, oh, you're eating that? Well, you might want to try this. And at a wine store, of course, the store owner is usually in there. If they're not, they have somebody who's more than competent who can help guide you. I always tell people, ask. It's no need to figure it out when these people are spending hours studying in books and are dying to help you.
Exactly. You are exactly right. Ask and don't walk around. And look, that's a good thing to do in life.
Yeah,
we get a lot of life tips tonight too. Don't walk around in the dark when you can ask. So when you're dealing with, say, a person like me, that's new, that has a what would you call it? A novice. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. That has a novice palate. What would you use to guide me out of that? So you would say, Jamila, this is what you've been drinking. Try X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I would start you with, whenever you're doing a wine tasting, you always start from dry to sweet. Okay. So I would start you with a couple of dry varietals. If you like Moscato, we'll start you off with some dry whites, right? Okay. And so when I say dry whites, I'm going to be selecting dry whites that are very fruit forward for you. So, like, for instance, the Black Girl Magic Riesling. That Riesling has a hint of sweetness. It's not as sweet as Moscato, though. But that'll be a good one to start you off with and say, hey, try this. Let's let it open up your palate a little bit more. And then from there, maybe we stick in this. Maybe we stay within the same varietal. That's what it's called. We have a you stay within the same one grape type. They're called varietals. Something we call at Black Girls Wine is transition wine. That's something, I don't know if I made it up. That's what I call it.
It sounds good to me.
Listen, all my wine friends, they're with it. And so we call those transition wines here at BGW. And those are wines that will take you from your sweet to a more mature palate. And so that's what I would be choosing, all transition wines. So we might pull a Riesling. We might pull a fruit forward white blend. You can start with table whites if you're in the grocery store trying to grow your palate. Table white wines, typically, they're going to be a good blend. Every single one is different, and they're usually really good transition wines too.
Okay, so table white wines are typically have a little sweetness, because I found that some wine that's really, really like super dessert wines, I don't like those. So but I just don't like super dry. So you're saying white table wines are good for to
table white wines and table blends. That's what you want to try next. And if you're like, I want to try some reds, try some table reds. So table reds and table whites are an international they're international. That's an international term and phrase, and it's an international practice for winemakers. So you can get a table white in France, you can get a table white in California, you can get one by a Virginia winemaker. You can get a lot of different winemakers make them, and they always are going to taste different, but they give you something to try without having to dive deep into like the Merlot or the Cab or
Gotcha. Now, Tanisha has a question. She says, what's a good percent for wine, or does it just depend on what you want? So, Tanisha, are you saying alcohol volume percent?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about the ABV, which is the alcohol by volume. The ABV, honestly, it is dependent on you. I'm not somebody who typically drinks wine to get drunk. It's a byproduct of enjoying the wine. So I don't look at the percentage. I'm not looking to, y'all, me and Jamila have a whole lot of common. I'm actually not a heavy drinker, which a lot of people don't realize until they meet me and they're like, oh, she don't drink like that. No, I'm not. So I am never the person who's checking the bottle like, oh, is this at least 14% because it was a long day? That's not me. When I get ready to sit down and enjoy a bottle of wine, I really want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy what's in my glass. So that percentage is really based on the person, what you're looking for.
Gotcha. I know, because I remember asking you, because I'm like, sometimes, we in the church, right? So I'm like, Shayla, come here. I said, girl, how you gonna start Black Girls Wine? We in the church.
Yep. And it's so funny. My mom.
Do you remember me asking you that? And I'm like, what kind of feedback are you getting?
My mom, let me tell you something. When I first started Black Girls Wine, my mom was like, are you gonna post pictures of yourself holding the wine glass?
You're like, yeah, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. She's like, I don't think you should. Maybe you shouldn't post them on Facebook.
Right.
Mom, it's wine. But a lot of times, and what we in the wine industry, and for anybody who is in, the upper level management, that's C-suite. When you start navigating, even in business, right? Yeah. Even in business, when you're meeting other entrepreneurs and stuff, and everybody's ordering wine, or wine is ordered for the table, wine is a life skill.
And there you go, almost like golf for the men.
It is golf, wine. There are conversations happening at tables where we belong. And so that's part of what was my inspiration behind starting the society, because I knew that I wanted to see more Black women at those tables having those important conversations. And you got to be able to navigate that, right? Nobody wants to be the one at the table like, what's this again? Right. What do I do with this? How are you supposed to drink it? How are you supposed to drink it? Like, nobody wants to be that person. And so, and developing that life skill, it don't matter what. Listen, honey, when you leave church, you go to work on Monday. You want to be able to have some. And it's also a conversation opener. When your boss says, "Yeah, me and the wife went out of town for the weekend, went to a couple wineries." Oh, where did you go? Yeah. Oh, I've been to that one. Did you try their Riesling? You're building connection and relationships. And that's why wine is such an important life skill, because it allows you to connect with people across the world. It doesn't matter where they're from. Everyone's drinking the wine. And so it automatically gives you something in common, and it allows you to open up that conversation. So listen, I told my mom, I was like, honey, it's the wine. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do. So
and I love it. That was another thing. I'm like, yes, Shayla, you better do okay. My girl, okay. I was like, oh yeah. I said, okay, I'm with you, girl. We gonna look. I'm with you. Keep going, because we gotta live in this life, you know. So I'm not sure who you are, but it says you don't want to be the one asking for the bottle of beer. Exactly. You know, you definitely don't want to be the one or saying, I'll just have water.
Exactly. That you don't want to be like, girl, and especially like, let's say you're trying to get a promotion and your boss invites you out and you're there with the CEO, you're there with other company heads, and they're somebody's like, oh, let's order a cab. I had a great one last week. And you're sitting there like, can I just have a Pepsi? Like, no, you can't be that girl. You can't be that girl.
Right.
Shauna said, we drink for taste, not to get drunk. Exactly, Shauna.
Yes. All right. Tell us, what's your top 3 wine accessories?
What
type of accessories do we need? Once we go to the tasting, we bring home some bottles. Now, what do we need?
You need some good stoppers. I love a good champagne stopper. There's one on Amazon for like $14. Champagne stoppers are life changers. They're not like regular wine stoppers. They go down over the bottle and they help hold the bubbles so that when you open it the next day, it's still fresh and it's still good. So definitely champagne stoppers. I'm kind of obsessed with wine glasses and I'm running out of space. And Beatrice said the last one, a good Corbin. I have a Corbin, and then I also just got Corbin's the new one that they have. So I enjoy a good Corbin as well.
Look, I'm going to need you to get a partnership with them so that.
Well, actually, the society does have one, and we have up in June, where our members are getting a special offer. They're getting the Corbin and a couple bottles of wine. So.
Okay, now I should have known. Like I should have known you was already on top of it.
You know it, girl. You know it. Yes, thank you, Beatrice. It's the Corbin Pivot. I do have a Corbin Pivot too, and it's good. So it keeps your wine fresh as if you haven't just opened it. Because wine only lasts 7 days in the fridge. So
that's another good tip. So only 7 days. You can't put it in a mason jar.
No, you cannot mason jar. And honestly, 7 days is generous because depending on the varietal, it may not last that long. And especially those cheap wines that people buy, they're not lasting 7 days.
Right. So let it go. That's a girls' night thing, and it's done. What's your favorite wine?
You know, I get asked that question a lot, and I don't have a favorite wine.
Okay.
Well, I take that back. I like Chenin Blanc. That's my favorite varietal. So I really like a good Chenin Blanc. I love a good champagne and a good rosé.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a favorite, probably because I drink so much wine. It's hard to pick.
Right. Well, why do you choose those? What is it about those varietals? I'm learning. Wow. Look, your girl's gonna be ready. They're gonna be really impressed. And I only had one night with the CEO of Black Girls Wine. So what makes you choose those? What is it about those blends that you like, or like I said, varietals? I like that word.
I love that word too. It does automatically make you feel like you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Chenin Blanc is a food-friendly white wine. It's not super acidic. I love the notes of it. It's a soft white, and so I feel like a lot of times, like, I'm not a high acid wine person. So, which is funny because I love champagne, and champagne is very acidic, but it doesn't bother me. For some reason, champagne doesn't bother me, but high acid whites do. So. I like Chenin Blanc because it's soft. I like rosés. Of course, they're red wines or they're red white blends wines. I like the freshness of it. I feel like rosés can have most commonly those grapefruit flavors, those melon flavors. They can be acidic, so I try to find ones that aren't as acidic. Anthony Bauer Anthony Bauer. He makes
Mhm.
great rosé. That's my favorite rosé. Now
Okay.
that's my favorite rosé. And that
All
one's not super acidic. It's very flavorful. It's a fruit forward rosé, which means it's not sweet, but it's not super.
right.
Um, so that's my favorite one. And then champagne, I like it's something about the bubbles. I don't know what it is about the bubbles.
It's fun.
I love the complexity of champagne that you can
Yeah.
smell all your white wine flavors and then get that fizzy, that acid, that on your palate. It's good. And it's great for I'm a food girl.
Me,
Champagne
yes.
food, and I'm a fat food girl. I'm a southern girl. I like my butter. I like my creams.
Yes,
Champagne
yes.
pairs very well with those foods.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I might need to skip all that table stuff and just get me a good champagne.
Yes, a good champagne. Oh my gosh. You especially with a good Alfredo, and I don't know about you, but I make my Alfredo from scratch. So
Yes, yes.
I got the butter on, or letting it melt, then I add the cream and the garlic, honey.
Mhm.
That champagne will cut
Yes.
the cream in a way that's magical.
Someone said, "What about prosecco?" What's your thoughts on that?
I do like prosecco. Honestly, I love sparkling wines.
Mhm.
I'll have a good glass of prosecco, especially if I look at a menu at a restaurant and their champagne is crap. I will
Mhm.
order the prosecco.
Okay. All righty. Well, our time is almost winding up here. So if you all have any questions, go ahead and get them in because time is winding right on up. But before I let you go, Shayla, I do want you to let everyone know, how do you keep up with Black Girls Wine? How do you purchase products? What else you got going on? So we can, stay in the know and get in there when those limited seats open up.
Yes. So Black Girls Wine Society, you can visit blackgirlswinesociety.com. You can keep up with Black Girls Wine Society on Instagram, on Facebook. We do have an open group on Facebook, the Black Girls Wine Family Group, and we share a lot about the society. Your best bet is to go to blackgirlswinesociety.com and get on that wait list.
Okay.
Membership is opening up in July. I'm not releasing any specific dates, but July is our next open enrollment. We'll
Okay.
applications and we will have rolled out our new website and everything like that. So it's going to be really exciting. Join the wait list. Beatrice just said join the wait list. If you
Yeah.
don't join the wait list, you may miss your chance to get in. I can tell you that over the last year, every time we have an open enrollment,
Mhm.
those people on the wait list, they make moves. When we open those doors, we on average at least 30 to 50 applications the first day. So
Wow.
you want to make sure that you're on the wait
Get
list
on
if
that
you
list.
want to get in. And we are, over this next year, really focusing on empowering our Black women leaders and empowering them on their wine journey and empowering them on their journey of luxury. We are
Yes.
really excited about bringing more luxury to Black women. And so
Yes.
our updates and everything are going to reflect that. So I'm excited.
I know it's going to be awesome because you do everything fabulous anyway. So, so I know it's going to be awesome. And I love that the beginning of this year, that's what came to me. And I'm like, Jamila, you have these businesses, you have all of this going on, but I felt a push into luxury, not for materialistic things, but sometimes you have to broaden. And sometimes you have to. So now I actually join a group because I just okay, I'm looking at this is this bag, and this is Louis Vuitton. Okay, why everybody? Because you can get me the knockoff real. That's how I was thinking. But then when I got in the group, I learned, oh, this is an investment. This has resale value. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I see why you want the real thing. But
Yeah.
I actually had to be exposed and had to change my mindset to not to, and change my mind. And I actually had to join that group. That was one of the things that helped me to hone in on living that. I was like, Jamila, you're doing this. You want a good life for you, your children, all of that. This is what you say you want to live. And then you're not comfortable when you get there. So you have to, you got to be comfortable. So I love that way that you said you bring in more luxury to Black Girls Wine. Kelly says, I love Black Girls Wine. You won't regret joining. Get on the wait list. I'm telling you, better get on the wait list. You're gonna miss it. I have missed it so many times. I want to call Shayla. I'm like, Shayla, can't you just get me in?
And I said, listen, one of my girlfriends, she called me about her friend, and I'm like, look, honey,
it don't work like that.
We are blessed enough to have somebody work applications. It's not me.
Exactly.
If she wants to get in, she needs to put in her application.
Yes.
You're absolutely right about everything. And that's what made me want to add more luxury. And especially there's so many African Americans that are getting into the luxury space, like home decor, apparel.
It's amazing.
It is. And I want to be able to support those African Americans that are getting into that space because it's different. Culturally, we don't have that exposure from childhood. We just don't.
We don't.
And let me say, 98%
most of us, right?
Some people do.
Yes.
Who don't feel if you did. But most of us did not. Most of us had to learn about luxury in adulthood. And so that it's really important to me that I can help share that and broaden those horizons because this is about legacy. The society is around long after I am. And I want daughters and nieces to look at their aunts and their moms in the society and have aspiration there for something other than just celebrity.
Exactly. Well, listen, our time is up. It went by so fast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I have enjoyed tonight. Like I said, it went by so fast. I learned so much. You made it easy. So, you broke it down to me like a 2-year-old. I got it.
No, you did really good. You caught on quick.
Thank you. I really am interested because you're right. You want to be at the table. You want to make sure you belong at the table and you're not feeling uncomfortable. And in order to do that, you have to open up your horizons. So tonight was really, really, really excellent. Thank you so much for coming in. I won't call you let me go ahead and join the wait list.
Yes, join the wait list because I don't go in it. So
exactly. We look, you are the CEO. We don't do that.
I have learned to delegate, and then not backtrack. I have to trust my team. So
that is so hard. We're gonna have to talk offline about that.
Let me tell you something. When you start doing it, it sets you free.
I believe it. And so, and I at this point, I don't think I have any other choice. So I'm just gonna have to let go and let God.
I'm gonna give you this tip before you go.
Yes.
You want to start delegating in your business before your business tells you to do it.
Yes.
You do it before your business starts telling you because that means it's too late.
It is, and mine are screaming at me right now. So I'm already too late. Like Jamila, just let it go. You're not the only one that know how to do all this stuff. And even if you do, it does not mean that you should. So
exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you in the green room. Don't leave. But I just want to say thank you. Tonight was wonderful. And I really appreciate you accepting the invite.
Yeah. Look, I thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be
here. Good. Hold on 1 second for me. All right, everybody. This was an awesome show tonight. Listen, there is more to Conversations with Graciously Me. Make sure you join and like and follow our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get that built up over there on YouTube. And if you're a lady, it's for ladies only. Join the Graciously Me Empowerment Group as well. Every day we have empowerment information down to cleaning tips. So anything that is for ladies, we talk about it in Graciously Me Empowerment Group. So be sure to join. Don't forget to shop. You support the platform. So be sure to stop by shopgraciouslyme.com. I appreciate everybody who joined tonight, especially the ladies of the Black Girls Wine Society. You all know so much. Y'all bomb. I already like y'all. So I got to make sure I get on that wait list. You all are informative. You have obviously learned a lot, and it sounds like you all have a good time. I just appreciate everybody who has joined us tonight, all the replay viewers. I appreciate you all. I want you to enjoy your evening and this upcoming weekend. And as I say every show, in a world where you can be anything that you absolutely want to be, make sure that you are the most important thing, and that is yourself. Good night, good night, good night, and make sure you follow us.